Hello and welcome to our webinar. Today I'm hosting a webinar with Referral Candy. I'm Rachel, Head of Content and Partnerships at Pixc, and I'm joined by Raul, Head of Partnerships at Referral Candy. So Raul, maybe you wanted to do a bit of an introduction into Referral Candy, who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. First, thank you for allowing us to be here today and talk to everyone about how to turn customers into brand ambassadors. A quick introduction about Referral Candy. So we are an e-commerce app that allows basically any e-commerce store to set up and run a referral program. And what we do actually is that we allow you to just have it running on autopilot. So you can set up what you want to give your customers for referring you to their friends, and what you want to give their friends to kind of nudge them to make that first purchase. And that's it. And then we have everything running on autopilot. We send out the rewards for you, either the cash rewards or discounts. We basically allow you to have it running on in the back office pretty much. So you just have to see the referral sales coming in.
Okay, cool. And obviously the goal of Referral Candy is to upsell more products and turn customers into repeat customers.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that you leverage your existing customers and basically turn them into your sales force, into your marketing team. Because we'll talk about this later on in the webinar, but basically the best salespeople that you have in your company are your customers, and so this is a very easy way and very cost-effective way to leverage that.
Excellent. And for anybody who doesn't know, I'll do a brief overview of what Pixc are. So Pixc, basically what we do is we are a photo editing or a product optimization solution. So we help e-commerce stores across the world optimize their product photos to increase sales. Product photography it's the first thing that the customer sees when they come to your website. Your website is basically a window into your store. And if your product photos don't properly represent the product that you're trying to sell, then you're going to lose customers. Up to 50% of sales are actually lost because of poor product photos. So our solution is customers send photos, whether they've taken it on a camera, have been professionally done, or they've done it on their smartphone. They send it to us within 24 hours. We then return beautifully edited photos that look like they've been done professionally. So that's basically what we do in a nutshell. So the things that Pixc and Referral Candy have in common is the idea of automating services for businesses to basically scale and grow their business. So in terms of the agenda for the webinar today, down of what we're going to be discussing, the first thing to get started with is kind of an overlap between branding and imagery, why your brand is so important. We're talking about building brand ambassadors, but to understand what it takes to build a brand ambassador, you need to appreciate the importance of branding and how your imagery fits into that. Then we'll move on to a bit more detail from you, Raul, about the power of word of mouth, how you can actually turn customers into ambassadors, why customer retention is so important, and some of your top tips or best practices on building a referral program.
Sounds good to me.
So just to get started with branding and imagery, this is sort of an area, a lot of our customers, we have merchants and online sellers all over the world, almost in every continent, and we work with thousands and thousands of businesses, and branding is absolutely something that has a massive impact on their sales. But even more than sales, I think it's something I'm sure that you could definitely agree with. Branding is something that drives customer loyalty, and ultimately it's the bottom line for a business. When you have good branding, you have good customer loyalty. That's what's going to increase sales. So some of the key things when it comes to branding, essentially communicates the personality or your USP, your unique selling point as a brand. And it communicates that to the business. So like I said before, your branding is the window for your customer into who you are as a business and what you represent, and ultimately what customer that you're targeting. Your branding also adds value to the customer experience because it creates a sense of prestige, and obviously imagery is a massive part in that. And with the images, they create a huge visual appeal. which of course increases engagement and sales, and that's obviously tied very closely with a referral program. And finally, branding is something that has a very high emotional connection. So it means that when you're looking to increase customer loyalty, you want to connect emotionally with your customer. So it means that when they think of their brand, it's something that they have a positive reaction to, and obviously they want to keep coming back for more. So just overall, a key element of branding is that your visual content, i.e. your product photos, they absolutely are the first thing that the customer sees. So if you want the customer to connect with your brand and then go on to spread the news about your brand and word of mouth, you need to represent your brand very well. So that kind of smoothly takes me on to the next, my next point, or our next topic in the agenda, which is word of mouth. So Raul, I'll hand it over to you.
Sounds good. I actually wanted to add something to the branding part that you mentioned before, and it's that there's another component, in my opinion, excuse me, about branding. It's well, when we think about branding, it's mostly what you just mentioned. It's your face, the face that you're showing to the customer, and the way your customers see you. But I would also add that, in my opinion, which kind of connects what we're going to talk about now, word of mouth. It's the fact that your branding, it's also how your customers not only see you, but how they pitch you and how they're going to recommend you to other people. So if I ask you, Rachel, can you recommend me a restaurant, or can you recommend me an online store to buy tennis shoes, for example, or sports clothing, you will be able to give me recommendations, and each recommendation will be different from each other. So you will say, okay, if you're looking for this, you should check out XYZ store. But if you're looking for this, you should check out ABC store. And that it's because each store, each brand has a different image and has a different way of presenting themselves and presenting their products and their services. So think about branding. This will be my recommendation, I guess, or my 2 cents on this is think about branding not only as the way your customers see you, but as the way you want your customers to talk to their friends and their family about you, which also kind of brings me to the power of word of mouth. So actually, I brought a couple stats about word of mouth to kind of show why it's so powerful. And Forrester Research did a study about the power of word of mouth, and they found out that 70% of U.S. consumers say that they trust brand and product recommendations from friends and family, and only 15% of them say that they trust, let's say, Facebook posts or Twitter posts created and shared by brands on their social accounts. Which honestly, it sounds reasonable in the sense that we are bombarded by content marketing. We are surrounded by ads and by branded content. So it's just a natural reaction as consumers to find something that it's different or something that it's transparent and unique rather than traditional ads. So yeah, and also I just another stat. These are the only things that I'm going to read during the entire webinar, but I just wanted to bring a couple stats. So Nielsen research that we all know, Nielsen, they came up with this quote that says that people trust recommendations from friends 7 times more than traditional advertising, which again kind of goes into the same category that I was mentioning before. It's the fact that we trust recommendations from friends and family just because we know that they're not trying to sell us anything. We know that they don't sound salesy, and they probably don't have any sort of incentive to recommend something to us. And even if they do, even if they are part of a referral program, if you're getting a recommendation from someone in your close circle, friend or family, they're not going to recommend you something that they know it's not going to be valuable for you, even if they're getting a $10, $15 reward. So, even if they're getting some sort of financial incentive and you're probably getting some sort of discount as well through them, that they would not be making that recommendation if they didn't think that was going to be valuable for you. So that's the power of word of mouth. It's basically, like I said at the beginning of the webinar, it's turning your customers into your salespeople.
Absolutely. And I think to add to that, I think the fact that we're living in an increasingly visual world and people are much more aware, especially with like advertising, I think people are aware of the consumerism and the fact that they're being sold stuff. And you put that all together on top of the fact that people have incredibly short attention spans. I think that that really drives home the fact that it has to be personalized. You have to really know your audience, and you have to target them according to what their interests and their preferences are. And of course, it's like, for example, if you turn around to me and ask me to recommend you a shoe, then if I know you as a person, and I know that I'm not going to maybe recommend a particular type of store, and you want something that's cool and fresh and kind of hip, then maybe I'm going to say, let's go to ASOS, because they're going to have a type of style. So it's a combination of all those things: consumers being more aware, short attention spans, and wanting something to be personalized where they don't feel like it's just a sale, like they're part of something. And the combination of those things is obviously what's going to make people want to refer your business to other people, to friends and family and whoever, and rave about
it. And you mentioned something about how visual our world is right now, and the importance of that, and kind of to add that, something that we've seen at Referral Candy is that some of the best performing referral programs that we've seen with our customers are the ones that also empower user generated content. So when you also ask your customers to generate hopefully visual content that is related to their products, you're also adding another sense of transparency and recommendations in that sense, because you're seeing people that are not maybe your friends and family directly, and they're sharing content, they're sharing pictures that they're taking with their iPhones of whatever product it is. Even though those people are probably not in your closest network, just the fact that you're seeing the product in real life, that you can take that as a recommendation, because you're seeing it from a different angle. So that's also something that we've seen a lot. It's the fact that when you get your customers to get involved with your product and recommend in a visual way, like you mentioned earlier, that truly makes a difference.
Absolutely. And I think that then, I mean, when talking about the power of word of mouth, I think that takes us on to the next point that we were going to discuss, which was turning customers into your ambassadors.
Yeah. So there's several ways that you can do this. But in my opinion, it all starts with a great shopping experience. So as long as here's the thing about referral programs. So you don't need a referral program to get word of mouth sales. If you are an e-commerce store owner who has recurring purchases from recurring customers, or even if they're not recurring, but if you have happy customers at the end of the day, so if you have a good product that people are happy about, and even if there's some sort of issue during the checkout process, but you have a customer support team that is proactive and it's able to solve problems in a timely manner, that's actually going to create a great shopping experience, and that's going to correlate to your branding. So at the end of the day, as long as your customers are leaving your store happy, and they're happy with the product that they bought, they're going to recommend you to their friends and family. So word of mouth sales. So if you are an e-commerce store owner who's been working on their store for, let's say, a year, you have a recurring flow of transactions, you already have word of mouth sales. I can assure you that a percentage of those sales that you're getting every month are coming from recommendations. The only difference is that if you don't have a referral program, there's no way for you to identify those referrals. And there's also, most importantly, in my opinion, there's nothing that you can do to encourage your customers to recommend you. So again, bottom line is, so to turn customers into ambassadors, it all starts with a great shopping experience. That should be the bottom line. And then on top of that, it's all about making sure that you're offering them something that matches what your customers want. So for example, we've had customers on Referral Candy that are recurring services, so like subscription boxes, for example. And what they do is that they offer discounts to both the existing customers who is recommending the store to their friends and family, and also another discount to the friend who's getting a recommendation. That way, you make sure that your customer stays with you, so you increase that customer retention, which I think is something that we're going to talk about later in the webinar. But also, we've had the other side of the coin. We've had stores that sell products that are definitely not recurring. So for example, online mattresses, that's something that you might buy once every 5-10 years, something like that. So offering you a discount, it's not gonna
Yeah, but if you buy, absolutely, yeah, but if you buy a mattress and it's the best mattress you've ever had, the next time you have a conversation with anybody who's moving house or buying mattresses, the first thing you're going to do is say, oh,
Exactly.
I bought it from this
Exactly.
company, they're amazing. So that's the whole point. So it might not be you as a repeat customer, but absolutely it's going to be another person.
Exactly. So it's all about adjusting your rewards to that type of customer. So you know that they're not gonna, that customer is not gonna buy from you anytime soon, but you can give them a reward, like a cash reward for every friend that buys some mattresses through you. So again, it, like you mentioned exactly what, you know, the bottom line that I wanted to explain with this is the fact that if you buy a great mattress, you're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna tell your friends and family, you're gonna say how great the mattress is, but also adding that reward, that little reward that you add to especially the friend. It's a great way to make sure that your customers are going to recommend you, and you kind of push them to keep talking about you, which is the most important part.
Absolutely. And I think just even going back to just product pages in general, when it comes to building your product page, a customer, a potential customer is more inclined to believe
Yep.
reviews or testimonials versus anything that you write in the product descriptions. So you're kind of just taking that psychology of a customer believing reviews or trusting testimonials, and then you're kind of flipping it then, because obviously a customer is going to be more inclined to believe something they hear from somebody else or get referred from somebody or a friend than anything that you as a business owner can ever say. You can write the most beautiful product description, but obviously that's from your perspective because you want to sell something. But if somebody actually buys it and it's got no reason to say something good or bad and they're raving about the product, then you'd be more
Exactly.
to go for it.
Exactly.
So then you were saying, if you're talking about the idea of customer retention. So obviously we know customer retention or reducing churn is, rule 101 for businesses. If you can keep customers happy and keep them coming back for more, then obviously those are your customers. It's kind of like the
Yep.
80-20 rule, the 20% of business that repeat, the customers that keep coming back for more. So what's your opinion on customer retention and how?
So in my opinion, customer retention, it's so investing in customer retention, it's probably the most cost effective investment that you can do in marketing on your business, not even just an e-commerce store, just any sort of business. So because think about it, what are the probabilities of selling the same product or a different product that you're offering to an existing customer? And now think about your conversion funnel. So we're thinking, let's say a typical e-commerce funnel says that about 1% of your visitors are going to turn into paying customers. And that's actually probably a very kind of aggressive conversion rate. But let's assume that 1%.
Yeah, I think if we go 1% conversion,
That's a rock star. Yeah.
1% conversion, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a rock star. But let's go with that. Let's assume that okay, 1% of your visitors are gonna turn into paying customers. Now think about what's the percentage, what's the probability of selling or upselling something to an existing customer. It's a lot higher, and also all those customer acquisition costs are gone. That customer is already with you, and if you have a business that allows recurring purchases, that's that again that's a killer, because you increase your profit just by reselling to an existing customer. So that's the main reason of why I think customer retention, it's very important. And also I feel like it's something that a lot of business owners forget. So same that we're talking about the funnel, we see a lot of articles and a lot of talks about how to improve your funnel and how to make more visitors buy from you, but I don't see that much content about how to retain your customers. And I feel like it's equally important. And sometimes there's case studies up there that show that a lot of companies that were struggling, getting sales, what they actually did, instead of pouring more money into ads, into Facebook ads and Google ads, they actually turned into their existing customers and found ways of delivering more value to those existing customers. So I just think it's a natural move, and I think it just makes sense because they already believe in what you offer, they already trust you as a brand. So it's a lot of the work that you have to put into them, it's gone, and it's already done. I mean, and if you had to go out and look for new customers, that's again, money they have to pour into also like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads, whatever it is they use.
Yeah, I agree with you. I see a common. Oh wow. Yeah, I see a common theme from online sellers, where what they seem to do is put a lot of money into PPC, a lot of spend, AdWords, Google Shopping, Facebook, Instagram ads, which is great. But unfortunately, if you don't have the correct funnel in place that turns those customers, once you've already acquired the lead, once you've already paid to get that traffic to your website, if you're not actually able to put the money into then keeping them as a customer. So whether that be through upsell, through email campaigns, I think email would be the best one, or referral programs. If you're not able to keep that customer and keep them coming back for more, there's no point. You've basically got a leaky bucket. There's no point trying to bring in new people, because they'll be coming in the funnel and going out to the other end, and then you've lost them, and it'll be a constant process that you're going over and over again. So definitely keeping those customers when they come in, providing them with the best service, and then keep them ticking over. Emails, obviously, I'm head of content, so obviously email marketing is a big part of what I do, and it's a huge part of what I believe in terms of the strategy of the business. So having those customers, getting referral programs, keeping up the touch points, keeping the engagement with your customers, making sure that you're providing value to them, whether that be through blogs or newsletters or whatever is relevant to your customers. And then you're always front of mind for future purchases. You're reducing the churn, and you'll be front of mind for them when they're referring to other people. So I definitely agree. Reducing churn, keeping, increasing customer retention is as important as driving new traffic. Because the customer already knows you. They've already spent with you. They already know what to expect.
And you just mentioned also, Rachel? Okay. Oh no, yeah,
go on.
I couldn't hear you. So something that you just mentioned about delivering content. So delivering, that's something that I truly believe in, and that's actually something that we do at Referral Candy. Like if you go any on of our social channels, you're not gonna see really promotions, or like, we don't really go after the hard sale there. We actually that's one of the missions that we have as a company. It's delivering content that is useful for e-commerce store owners. And I know you believe in this too, Rachel, because this webinar, it's part of that. We're talking here and coming up with ideas that at the end of the day, they're going to help e-commerce store owners. So, but what I wanted to say is that customer retention is important, and we tend to think about customer retention as, okay, how can I sell something to this customer again in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 2 months? And kind of going back to the same example that I said before about the mattress company, that company is using customer retention strategies, even though they know that their customers are probably not going to buy from them anytime soon, and anytime soon might be by 5-10 years. So, but delivering content that they can share, inviting them to join a referral program, it's something that, even though you know that they're not going to buy from you anytime soon, it's a way of keeping them around and just basically leveraging their network. So I totally agree with that, with the fact that you have to provide content that it's useful, and that could obviously potentially be shared and share with other people that might not know about your brand.
Yeah, and I think it's also a case of what you're doing essentially with your customers is building a sense of community. Let's just look at some of the best retail stores. I use ASOS as an example again. They have done they have one of the best fashion or retail online platforms across the globe, and they've won, that's just not me being biased, they've won multiple awards. The shopping experience is unbelievable, but even more than that, they know their customer. They have different types of customer, and they know their customers very well. And they have created like a mini community of people. So they've, and I see there's a brand, Primark, or we call it Primark in Ireland, but it's Primark. And they have an amazing social media account, and there's so much engagement in their community, and they really encourage it. So having that sense of community, people feeling like they're part of something, whether or not they're buying, it doesn't matter. And people will go out of their way then to engage in that brand. And then, the chances they might see something on the website, on their social media they're going to love. And then they're going to be the ones that want to either share it with their friends or go and see it. So it's more than just, trying to sell. It's more than just a hard sell or advertising. It's about creating a community and engaging people and providing value, whether that be in written content, in emails, or just beautiful imagery, whatever the case is. It's providing that and maintaining a consistent form of engagement in line.
And the community, the community part is crucial. I just want to mention something real quick. So a few months ago, I interviewed some of our best customers, so some of the I would say the biggest customers that we have at Referral Candy, and something that they all have in common, even though they sell absolutely different products to absolutely different markets, they all have very very decent size and very engaged communities, especially on Facebook. So literally all of them had Facebook groups with tens of thousands of people, where people were active every single day. Like, they were asking questions about the product. Other users were answering those questions. So they were acting kind of like as a sales or support team, and they were their own customers. And it's something that actually I never thought that would be so important, but literally all those retailers that I interviewed that were their referral programs were successful, but as businesses that were very successful, they all had Facebook communities that were very active. So that's an idea for all those e-commerce store owners that are listening out there.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely a good idea, because everybody's on social media, everybody's online, everybody's on some sort of instant messaging or some sort of platform. So being able to create that community where other customers can answer questions on behalf of the business and are happy to rate about the product, it'll obviously go much further than the business coming back and saying, oh yeah, this product is amazing, I'll definitely buy it. Another customer said, yeah, I've bought it 2 or 3 times and I love it. Then straight away you're like, okay, well, I can trust this because it's, it's not biased. So yeah, on that note then, moving on to one of our final topics. In terms of referral programs, what would be your best practices or top tips?
So I would say first, something that I mentioned earlier, which is make sure that your rewards match your customers' purchasing activity. So make sure that you're offering something that they will be interested in. Think a little bit outside of the box. So we've had one of the options that we offer at Referral Candy, for example, is that you can allow your advocates to either get money in cash for every referral, but they can also donate it to a nonprofit. And so there are several nonprofit companies that we work with. So, and we discovered that a lot of the best referral programs that we have at Referral Candy have that option. A lot of these advocates of the brands that we work with actually feel better about donating part of these referrals to nonprofits, because getting $20 in cash, it's obviously something nice, but you feel better about it when you donate it to a good cause. So we've seen that type of best practices. We've also seen, basically at the end of the day, just to make sure that your referral program is successful, basically the best thing that you can do is remind your customers and offer something that it's interesting for them, but at the same time include it within your marketing mix. So actually something that just a tip that I can share right away, it's make sure that you're inviting your customers to join your referral program after they have received value from your product. So we've seen a lot of referral programs that invite you to join it right after you make a purchase. And if I'm already a recurring customer, that's fine, because I already know what the brand's about and I know the product and I can probably recommend it. But if it's my first time, I might not be ready to recommend the product if I literally just bought it. So one of the best practices that we can recommend is invite new customers to join your referral program once they've had enough time to see your product, to use it, and then they can actually recommended. So let's say if you have an estimated 1 week, 2 week delivery time, and you assume that it's going to take your customer 1-2 weeks to use it, maybe invite your customers a month after, or 3 weeks after they've made their purchase. So don't assume that just because you have their attention, it's the best timing to invite them to join the referral program. And yeah, I think that at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that you have an open communication with your customers. So the sense of community that we were discussing before, that matches perfectly with a referral program. So it's all about making it attractive for your customers, and also remind them that this is something that they can benefit from, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of offers. If I go on my email right now, I'll see a lot of 5-10% discounts from a lot of different brands. So it's all about making something that it's a little bit different. And if you know your customers, you probably know how to reach them best.
Absolutely, and that goes back to one of the points that we were mentioning earlier about really knowing customer, understanding who your customer is, understanding your target market, understanding what it is that's important to them, and communicating with them in a way that they understand. Like, for example, if you have customers that are, teenagers, you're not going to and then let's just say another business has customers who are people in their 40s or 50s. You're not going to communicate with them in the same way.
Yeah.
If you've got an older audience, sending them hashtags and, sending them to Instagram to look at different hashtags, it may not be the most appropriate kind of communication. Whereas with a younger audience, if you didn't use that type of communication, of course, it's not their reality. So yeah, really, I think that's almost rule 101 of business. If you don't know your audience, then you've kind of lost, because then you're marketing to nobody, basically.
Agreed.
And what do you see with some of the businesses that you work with? What are some of the best practices or some of the top tips from them that seem to work very well?
So this is something that actually surprised me, is that some of the best performing referral programs give a bigger reward to the friend than the advocate. So we've seen referral programs that are like, get $10 and give your friends a $50 discount on their first purchase, things like that, or like give your friends a 70% discount, and you get $20 in exchange for each referral. And that kind of surprised me, because one of these assumptions that I had about referral programs is that you tend to think about affiliate programs in the sense that, try to get us as many sales as possible, and we will give you a commission for every sale. And referral programs tend to think more about the person who's being recommended. And let's go back to the example that I mentioned earlier. So if I ask you to recommend me a restaurant, you're going to recommend me a restaurant that it's good, and you actually want to make sure that I have a good experience at that restaurant, because, I spend my money in that restaurant, and I decided to go there because I was recommended by you. And even if you have, let's say, like a voucher that you can give me for a discount, but you don't get anything in exchange, you would just give it to me and say, look, here, just get this $20, get this 20% discount when you get there, or when you purchase at this online store, and you will do that just because you want to be nice to someone that you know, and especially with your friends and family. Even if you don't get anything in exchange, you'll be happy to give them a discount to something that it's going to be valuable for them. So thinking about the friend more than the advocate, it's one of those surprises that I had when I started working at Referral Candy, and I started seeing all these successful referral programs. So that's something that I would totally recommend everyone to do. It's think about how your advocate's going to feel when they give that offer to their friend or their family member.
Yeah, and I think it's that. I think people take great pleasure in giving gifts to other people as well. So being able to offer that and gifting their friends with something is a very powerful tool.
Exactly.
So any other last tips? I think we're ready to kind of wrap up here. Any other last tips or important bits that customers should be aware about with Referral Candy and what it offers and what it can do?
Well, so like I said before, the bottom line of referral programs, at the end of the day, it's just part of your customer retention strategy. So just make sure that you have a good and an easy purchasing experience, and that make sure that your customer support team it's being able to solve problems for these customers, because it's not nice for anyone to have a bad experience with the store and then receive an email asking you to refer you to friends and family. So make sure at the end of the day, it's all about making sure that your customers are happy, and that the recommendations will just come naturally. But of course, if you have some sort of reward, especially for the friend or for that new customer that you're trying to acquire, that really makes a difference. And about Referral Candy, basically what we do is that we help you automate all this. So setting up a referral program on Referral Candy is as easy as signing up. You select what are the rewards that you want to give your customers and their friends. So you can select whether you want to give them a discount on their next purchase, cash for every referral transaction that they bring, or if you want to set up like a custom reward, so like a t-shirt or a gift card, whatever it is, you can do that as well. And you can also set up what's the discount that you want to give the friend for that first purchase. And that's literally it. Even if you're not a designer or you don't have a developer on your team, all you need to do is just upload a logo and a banner, and we'll make sure that all your emails and pages related to your referral program will look nice and clean. And that's pretty much all you have to do. We put everything on autopilot so you can focus on running your store.
Excellent. Well, that's brilliant. I think it's been really insightful. And up here on the screen, what I've done is I've included some contacts. So if you would like any more information from Referral Candy, you can contact Raul directly. There's a $50 off code available after a 30-day free trial. And if you've got any further questions about product photography, product optimization, content around your website or your online business, then you're more than welcome to shoot an email over to Pixc. So that's great. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Rachel. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, you too.